I saw a post on a forum where somebody said, did having avoidant personality disorder make me bisexual? And when I saw this post, I ignored it because it's got to be a joke, right? But then I saw that people were taking this seriously, and it was based on something that was written up by Cantor. Now, first of all, Cantor is a hack. There's no way else to describe it. It's ridiculous. He talks about avoidant personality disorder when his own daughter has it. That's an ethics violation right there. And he also does everything he can to sort of take the blame for her having AvPD off of him. So he's like putting up all these sort of like, well, it's this, it's this, it's this. You know, it's not that she was abused as a child, which is what is the requirement for having avoidant personality disorder. So there's number one. Number two, no, not all avoidant people are either gay or bisexual. Not all avoidant men are gay or bisexual. You want some more proof? Read my comments. Okay? That's just straight up crazy. And another reason for that is, you know, wherever you are in the spectrum of sexuality, you're born that way. Sorry for all the people who want to claim, I don't know what they want to claim, but don't decide to be gay. You're not made to be gay. You know, I've heard that, oh, well, I was sexually abused and that. You know what? Lots of people who are sexually abused as a child by a same-sex person grows up and is completely straight. It's a biological thing. And it's, you know, so you can't impact it. It doesn't impact the other way around. So, and it's on the DSM that says you must be gay in order to have this particular, I mean, I know that it used to be that if you were gay, you were considered mentally ill, and that was the, you know, that was the distinction, but that's about the only thing that's ever been in the DSM. I'm getting off track, but seriously, no. They are not correlated at all. At all. The only way that it could possibly be correlated is if you had the predisposition, turns out you were gay or bisexual, and you were bullied extra hard for it. That could be the trigger that could have made you avoidant personality disorder. But it's not being gay is the issue. It's the abuse. The other thing that Cantor says that's complete and utter BS is that all sex addicts have avoidant personality disorder. What? Again, totally, completely arbitrary crazy pants. No. And here's his argument. This is why. And again, this is just straight up wrong. This is why this guy's a hack, okay? Is because he says he just doesn't get what avoidant personality disorder is. He just straight up does not understand it. Because he doesn't want to. Because his daughter has it. And he doesn't want to take any of the blame or responsibility for it. He thinks that being avoidant is that somebody is fearful of the relationships that they could have. That could be some of it. But at its base, what it is poor self-esteem. You know, poor self-esteem that causes you to then avoid interacting with people. In a really twisted kind of way, I can kind of understand where he's saying, yeah, they're similar. But you know what? There's similar between having, you know, an anxiety disorder and bipolar disorder. And they're completely radically different. And you cannot treat one the same and you can't call one the other. It's just, it boggles my mind. So to reiterate, avoidant personality disorder actually does not affect somebody's straight up sexuality. And there is another thing completely separate. Now there's avoidant personality disorder. There is avoidant attachment style, completely separate thing. They are not correlated. You don't have to have one or, and have the other. There's also avoidant sexuality, avoidant sexual practice. I don't remember exactly what the terminology is, which is basically that a person can only conceive of themselves as being used sexually by another person, and there can be nothing beyond that. And so it's a very super detached experience where you are just like, it's like always slam bam, thank you ma'am, can't be anything else, because you're thinking that person wants to get off and use me as a masturbatory tool, and that's about it. And but that's, again, that is not anything to do with avoidant sexuality. I mean, avoidant personality disorder. It's confusing. Using the same terms for everything is awful. And of course, there is like being avoidant, which is not avoidant personality disorder. That's just like, avoiding people. And that's where all this confusion comes from. They use these terms. They think they all mean the same thing. They pile them all together, and it doesn't actually mean the same thing at all. Now, why does this get me so annoyed? It is identical, exactly the same reason as why I can't stand seeing non-avoidant people say, I'm avoidant and blah, blah, blah. I mean, there was one a few months ago. Like, I don't think that anybody who has any real experience with avoidant personality disorder at all, like the tiniest little bit, like even knows the definition of the word, would have actually been taken in by this person. But she's like, oh, today I choose not to be avoidant, and today I'm going to go out and make friends and be with people, and I'm going to report back to you how great it is. Stupid. It's totally stupid to take these things and stick them onto avoidant personality disorder. And here's the reason why. Here's the real reason why this is a horrible action for people. This is for cancer, for these people who are borderline that refuse to accept their diagnosis, for people who are having a bad day and are depressed. I know those are two totally different things, but seriously, bad day or depressed and are not wanting to be around people and say, oh, now I have avoidant personality disorder. No. The reason why that's so awful is because you basically, especially if you're learning about it, I mean, you don't know about this. Nobody knows what avoidant personality disorder is. It's not well known, and you've got to figure out what it is and try to learn about it. Here's the problem. Beating around the bush. Is avoidant personality disorder is primarily based in self-esteem and self-worth. That's the big, nasty problem with it. And if you're reading about how sex addicts that go out and, can screw 3 different people in a night are avoidant, you're reading about all avoidants are gay or bisexual, and you're not doing either of those things, and that's not you, what goes through your head? I'm telling you, went through my head. And this is why I know that it goes through everybody's head is, oh my God, I'm not even good enough to be a correct and proper avoidant personality disorder person. I don't even meet that standard. Forget about meeting the standard of regular human beings. I'm not even a good avoidant. That's what happens when you read this crap, is you're like, and that post that I saw was like, oh, it's the explanation for why. And you know what? Again, that irks me, like, not like I'm annoyed at that person, but like it bothers me, because if they're taking your sexuality, however you manifest it, and attaching it to avoidant personality disorder, which is a really nasty negative thing, then basically you're saying that your sexuality, however it expresses itself, is a bad and nasty thing. And it comes out of a bad and nasty thing. And I'm like, no, wrong. It might be confusing. It might be annoying. I mean, personally, looking at numbers, I mean, that's the other thing. It's so annoying. If you read that Cantor thing, it's saying, okay, the reason why people are bisexual is because, they want to be avoidant. They want to avoid a relationship. So when they're into a guy and they're starting to get romantic feelings, then they'll flip their sexuality and be into women sexually so that they can avoid the relationship with a man. Bull crap. No, that is so completely, utterly wrong. That is not how no human on the planet would work that way. Definitely not avoidant people. No. Wrong. And if anything, if you're bisexual, bully to you, because you've got an even larger group of people that maybe somebody you're going to be able to connect with, and it would kind of be a bummer if, say, you found your best friend who was the same gender as you, and you couldn't, have a more, oh God, I'm saying stupid things, but you know what I mean? You couldn't have a bigger, deeper relationship with somebody because your sexuality says that you're straight and you can't get into that guy for that way. That's kind of a bummer. So, in a way, it's a bonus if you're bisexual and you're avoidant, because, you've got a larger possible pool of people with which you could conceivably have a relationship with. Considering there's such a tiny percent of people that you would actually be able to connect with, anything you can do to up that number, hey, that's great. You know what I mean? But so, if anything, I should say that would be a really good, positive thing. But Cantor turns everything around and makes it horrible. And he's like, okay, well, you got this thing going for you, this one thing going for you. You're bisexual. You could possibly find more people. One good thing. And takes it and completely stabs it down as hard as they can and says, no. Well, it's because you're avoidant and you're trying to avoid relationships, and that's why. That's insane. That's not helpful. It is straight up wrong. It is horrible to put that on people, and it's so annoying. And again, the reason, besides the fact that it's just straight up wrong, again, it's giving people this crazy standard that they're supposed to live up to if they're avoidant. No. You don't have to be a certain way to be a person with avoidant personality disorder. It describes a collection of traits that you have when you interact with people. It's sort of shorthand for that, but there's not a set line. This is the bucket that you must be able to drop yourself into in order to be avoidant. And if you don't match what somebody else's description of what their avoidant personality disorder is, that doesn't make you a bad avoidant.